Oh, Jesus. Wow. Now, yeah, so it's been like 6, 7 months, or how long was it? Since March, I believe, since I've done a creepypasta reading. Now, I've gotten a bit bored of it throughout this course of 6 months after I've done the 10th entry, and I try to find some decent ones to read, but try to find some, and for some reason I couldn't find them until now. And let's just mute the sound on this so we can just focus on here. So today we're obviously back with another creepypasta reading, and this is day 8 of my 24 days of Christmas 2017. And yeah, I found some interesting ones right there, and ignore the bit of edges of my lip. It's just a bit damaged, but you can't see that much, but you can see a little bit. But hey, fuck it. So do I have more water? A little bit. So I'm gonna be doing this till like after 3 a.m. and then I'm going to bed immediately after I've ended the stream. So for those who missed it, and yeah, welcome to the future. I believe, I don't know. I haven't taken a shower yet, just to be clear here. And hold on, first of all, is my into the look real quick. Let's see if my mic is what is it? It's volumed up real good. User. Just want to see real quick. Okay, we're good. Yep, I agree. Yep. Okay, hear myself. Okay, let's have this latest in. Yeah. So without further ado, I found like I said, I found some quick process, and wow. Before I dive into that, if you look at all this, at the hold on, I'm gonna show it to you all. Just the whole screen. I mean, look at the whole menu there. It's like it's almost empty. I mean, I get what you're doing here, Google, but come on, man. I'm trying to find a good music here, like a yeah, you're seeing it right now, but I couldn't. So go for the scary creepypasta music. Okay, creepypasta music. There it is. And let's see how good it is. Okay, it's decent. We good? Yeah, we're good. All right then. Let's just ignore that one right here. Yeah. So before we start with the Christmas readings, which is this one and that one up there, we need some interesting. And what the fuck? Well, I need my phone. I need to see. I need to see how much I've read so far. I'm trying to see if I read the. I don't think I've read Ash's Como. Let's do that as well. So right off the back, we're gonna do this. So I just sit there. We found a thing called Christmas. Find some so far, and yeah, let's just do it right now. The crow calls it midnight. crows. They're members of the Corvus family. Their beady eyes, black wings, annoying call. What's not to like? A lot. Something happened a few years ago. Something unusual, beyond normal, more than hungry. Oh, does this sound good, by the way? I need to hear. Beyond normal, more than hungry. Oh, does this sound good? A little bit. A little bit good. A little bit good. Okay. Moving along. Let's just round down a little bit. Okay. It was summer, the best time of year to kick back and relax. For my holidays, I was spending them at the log cabin in the middle of Murderwood. Sounds almost like Hollywood. I don't know. I know what you're thinking. There was a murderer, right? Wrong. It was called Murderwood because it was a home to a group of crows, or murder. If you're a bird watcher or biologist, you would love to be there for a week, which is how long my visit was. I was staying with my cousin, who was studying the behavior of crows. She loved crows, and not only did she decide to study them as a scientist, she also bought a log cabin in the outskirts of Murderwood. 12 a.m. I was unpacking my things in the spare room. It had a window with a nice view of the wood. I could see thick, ancient trees, 3 or 4 crows flying through the leaves, a dark figure walking into Murderwood, and hold on, dark figure. I looked back at where the figure had been, but the person had disappeared. 3 p.m. I had a late lunch, a sandwich, some lemonade, and a cookie. Because the log cabin was so old-fashioned, I had to do a few things. The only things that were modern were my cousin's scientific equipment. First, I had to collect firewood for the furnace and fireplace. I kept an eye out for the figure, but it didn't show up. Instead, all I could hear were crows cawing, just like they do, as always. Next, I had to unweed the roof, as it had grown weeds over the years. I could hear more crows, but they sounded far away. While up there were deep claw marks on the roof. Ooh, there's some bare feet. Lastly, there was the task of collecting water from a well. As I collected the water, I saw a figure walk into a crumbling weathered cabin. I would have gone towards it, but I had a job to do. 7 p.m. Dinner. It was lovely. Potatoes, peas, chicken. How tasty. I asked my cousin about the building. She said it used to be a facility, which was shut down after an accident. No one was quite sure what happened, but whatever occurred left no survivors. Midnight. I woke up in the middle of the night. There was a noise coming from outside. Caw! Just a crow. I was just closing my eyes when a shadow passes by my window. It wasn't a murder of crows. It was a person. At least, I hoped it was. It was too dark to see, but I knew that the person was different. I couldn't get back to sleep that night. How could I have done? 7 a.m. I went to where I saw the person was. All I could find was a long black feather and deep scratch marks in the ground, similar to the marks on the roof. I ate some cereal and had a rest. I could not get the person out of my head last night. I felt refreshed after my nap, but this person, the marks, the crow feather, it didn't add up. I felt like there was something I missed. But what? 10 a.m. I was sent to collect water again. As I was several feet away, I could see someone on the ground, being showered in black feathers, growling. I yelled at it. It turned its head towards me. What I saw was horrific. It looked like a man, except it had bird-like features. No, crow-like features. It looked majestic and creepy. Oh dear. The only human parts it had were its muscular build, forearms, and voice. Patches of its skin were covered in pure black feathers, like the one I found outside my window. It had wings, large black wings, taloned feet with only 3 toes on each bird-like foot, and its face was unnatural. It had its black beak, its blue eyes, long, sharp, crooked teeth, and long brown hair. The least human part was the face's design. It was feathery, with several bald spots. The skin was a raw shade of pink, with scars in many places, some leaving lines between rows of feathers. I couldn't look away. I wanted to, but I couldn't. I threw a handful of stones at it, but it made it screech and fly away into the old facility. I saw what happened as I walked towards the well. It was eating. All that was left was a skeleton with a few flecks of skin attached. And then I saw it, a color. It was eating a dog. It wasn't right. The thing's face wasn't right. I will remember the face for the rest of my life. 4 p.m. I asked my cousin to drive me into town. I wanted to know what the Chrome Man thing was before going back into Murderwood. I asked the shopkeepers and they didn't know. I asked tourists and they wanted to take a picture of him. The rest of the people I asked thought I was crazy. Well, at least I thought it was him. Jesus. Until I went to the bookshop. The owner was a frail old man who had a bored-looking grandson working for him. Dear. I asked the old man if he knew about him, but I had no idea. I asked the grandson, and he said he knew nothing. Before I stepped out of the door, he asked me to come back to the shop tomorrow. If he knew nothing about it, why did he want me to come back? Midnight. Caw! The crows were getting worked up again. Probably about the crow man hunting. Why did I have to suffer? Why me, of all people? A shadow passed by the window. He was staring at me. It was a very nerve-wracking moment. Crack! He punched the wall outside. He was trying to get in. A minute after the wall was punched, I was breathing heavily. I strained my ear, trying to hear it. Nothing. He must have left. Maybe he wanted to smell me, but didn't like my dirty clothes. Sleep was deprived from me for a second night. Poor bastard. 7 a.m. I ate some cereal and had another nap. I hoped it wouldn't become a habit. I slept dreamlessly, and then remembered I had to go back into town and meet the grandson. I wondered what it was about. 11 a.m. I went back into town. It was quiet, which was no surprise. The town was very small. The only buildings were the bookshop, tourist office, bait shop, and the corner shop. Anyway, I stepped inside the bookshop. I asked the grandson what he wanted to see me about. All they did was they gave me a memory stick. He said it was important not to lose it. It was unusual in design. The outside bit was made of wood. It was shaped like a feather for some reason. It wasn't until further inspection that I found writing on one side of the feather. OF R29-F3-L2-C19-. What did it mean? I had to find a computer, but my cousin didn't have one. Maybe it's like a coordinates? I don't know. I don't think so. 6 p.m. I was still trying to find a computer. I asked my cousin if there was a computer in the town, but she had no idea. I wish there was a Starbucks in this place. Oh, I thought it was. Oh, hi, Paul. You finished your exam. Okay. So how did it go for your exam? Did it get any B's, C's, A's? I don't know. Anyways, I'm doing good, by the way. Thanks for asking. What was I? Oh, then it hit me. Graham, the grandson, had a laptop. If you let me on there, I will be able to find out what was in the memory stick. I asked my cousin if we could go into town, but she said she wouldn't. It was because she didn't want to waste petrol and the shops were all closed. Great. I will be spending another night in my room, sleepless. Midnight. Strange. It was quiet. No birds were going caw, and the wind was blowing. What the fuck? Maybe the crows didn't like it. For once in this place would I be able to sleep. I was very uncomfortable during my sleep. I kept telling my cousin to turn off the light, but then I noticed that the light was coming from the forest. It wasn't fire, thankfully. The light was a pale, radiating green and coming from the facility. Who would be in a crumbling building, apart from the stupid crow man? Surely it wasn't that smart, was it? Ignoring a voice in my head, I went back to sleep for the second time. 8 a.m. I felt refreshed. It was the first time I had a good sleep in this cabin. The first thing I did was look at the memory stick. Whoever this OF was, he or she must have known something about all this. I wasn't even sure if the person was living in this place. If OF could help me, I needed to use a computer. Whatever was left on there could help me with this mystery. I had to go get to the town as soon as possible. 10 a.m. I made it to town. I ran towards the bookshop. Wanted to know what information OF had left behind. I opened the door, but it wouldn't budge. That's when I noticed it was closed. I was an hour early. I spent a whole hour sitting on a bench, waiting for the shops to open. During that time, I managed to know the layout of the town. In the distance, Murderwood was dark, shading even the white rabbits that woke up in the darkness. Apart from those rabbits, the crows were going caw. They're the most annoying animal to me. Finally, the shops were open. I literally ran to the bookshop as it opened. I asked the old man if I could see Graham. He called for his grandson and I asked if I could use his laptop. He agreed and we went upstairs towards the laptop. As I opened the files, I noticed several programs downloaded on the memory stick. Most of them I never heard of. The first document was containing notes on what happened with the project. The second document was encoded, so it couldn't be accessed. One file contained videos, and they were unusual. All of them were in the laboratory, with basins, a large glass cylinder in a cage. There were 16 short videos, all of them boring. That's when the last video turned dark. It was incomplete, but most of the video was fine. A scientist was in a closet, whispering as if he didn't want to be found. In the background, there was screaming. A minute later, the man burst out of the hiding place and rushed to the computer. He put a memory stick, the same one in the laptop, into the computer, and when it reached 100%, a screech filled the air. The scientist's face was contorted with fear. A few seconds later, the video camera was thrown onto the floor on its side. Before the video ended, a dark shadow rushed to the scientist. I asked Graham what his last name was. It was Finance. Fenless. Graham Fenless. Was it possible? Was Olaf Graham's father? 5 p.m. The Crows. A facility. Scientists. Encoded documents. They must all be connected. Could the Crow Man be the result of an experiment? If so, it must have been an accident. My cousin said about the facility shutting down because of an accident that left no survivors. The Crow Man must have been the cause of it. I'm certain. I should just stay awake tonight. And I was just getting used to sleeping comfortably, too. Comfortable. Midnight. Caw! Yep, the crows all worked up again. That creature must be hunting again. The Crow should be coming here soon. I just know it will. Then a shadow passed by my window. A few seconds later, there was a scratching noise coming from the left wall. All I could do was hope it was a dog, wolf, or whatever. The wall had broken down. The creature got through. It screeched and rushed towards me as I ran for my life. I was tired and confused, which made me have no idea where to go. Then I saw it. A hatch leading to the basement. The Crowman was close, and time was limited. So I opened the hatch, shut the door, turned on the light, and stayed still, in order to avoid being detected. I'm never going to get any sleep. 9 a.m. My cousin opened the hatch. She looked worried. She was asking what had happened. Wire wall in by... Hold on. No, hold on. Actually, no, it's just gonna ruin everything. I think music, like some music that aren't like necessarily creepy is gonna ruin a bit, so... Yeah, I decided to stop the music right there, and let's continue. My cousin opened the hatch. She looked worried. She was asking what had happened, why the wall in my bedroom was broken, and why she could hear a crow in my bedroom last night. I was in no mood to talk, but I told her everything. Oh my god. Stop being a wimp. After I had stopped, she looked for me to the bedroom. Finally, when she spoke, she said she believed me. I asked her if she had any old newspapers. If you wanted to get to the bottom of this, I needed to know what had happened and why. 12 a.m. I found out a lot of things to do with the Crowman. I found out that one of the project developers was Oswald Fenlance, Graham's father. They tried to create a being with bird-like abilities and features. Because Murderwood was filled with crows, they found that it would be ideal to build a facility in the forest and use a crow as a test subject. They spent a lot of money on it. They kept catching crows, but none of them had a specific DNA sample. Until one day, they managed to find the perfect specimen. Using blood transfusion, DNA transfers, and a human willing to be used. They created a vicious warrior. It attacked several scientists at first, but then it was contained in a holding cell. But a few days later, the guard had left for a moment and the crewman escaped. He killed everyone in the facility, the last person being Oswald Fenless. Once the subject had escaped the facility, it roamed around the forest, eating any animal or person to come across it. It was a test which was to be aborted a few days before the scientists were killed. It was the Chorus Project, a mistake which should never have happened. I needed to end this. If Oswald left the cure to kill Corvus, it must have been left to his son Graham. I mustn't be wrong. I needed to keep making the right decisions from now on. One mistake and it will end. 7 p.m. Normally, my cousin wouldn't go to town at this time, but I insisted that we should. For some reason, even though it was a 10-minute drive, it felt like an hour. When we reached the bookshop, I knocked on the door. The old man complained that it was too late, but I insisted that it was important, that it had everything to do with his late son. He let us in after that. My cousin asked if his son left anything here before he died, and he said they were all in a file on his own memory stick. Was it possible that it was encoded file? It was the encoded file trying to access the day before? Again, we tried to access it, but it was still encoded. Then it hit me. It would be encoded if we tried it as its whole computer. Unfortunately, I didn't know where it was in the facility. For a clue, I looked at the memory stick, the letter being shadowed. All 29 F3 L2 C19. Hold on. All 29 all 29 F3 L2 C19. Room 29. Floor 3. Laboratory 2. Computer 19. Was that it? Before I could think one last thing, the glass shattered. The chorus came through, growling at us. Then it said one word. Fearless. We ran. We ducked under bookshelves, closed doors, and climbed out of a window. But it just cast away the bookshelves without effort, smashed through the doors, and flew after us. Running out of options, we ran into Murderwood. Okay, nice. The old man was out of breath, but we just couldn't leave him. He stumbled, and my cousin tried to save him, but in the blink of an eye he was taken, killed and eaten, leaving only a few flecks of skin on a frail skeleton. Somehow I had a feeling that Corvus was still hungry. Then, just a few meters ahead, I saw the facility. Leaving no choice, we took shelter in a cupboard. It was small, but it was safe. My ordeal was nearly over, but wasn't finished just yet. Midnight. There was a thudding noise outside, the pounding of heavy feet against the metallic floor. Corvus was close. I looked for Graham. We had to keep him safe. Safe from the carnivorous humanoid bird that was the result of the Corvus project. It was late, and I decided to sleep, wondering if it was the last time I would sleep alive. Day 6. 9 p. Fuck's sake. 9 a.m. I opened my eyes in the darkness. At first, I had no idea where I was, but then remembered. I was in a facility, Corvus's home, a place where no rules in everyday life exist. If I could find Oswald Fenless's computer and decode the file, maybe the key to defeating Corvus would be shown. One by one, we stepped outside of our temporary sanctuary. Sorry. On the floor, there was a skeleton. It looked like it was used to be a cat. Flies were buzzing around the rotten flecks of skin on the bones. It was disgusting, and we all saw hungry. I nearly ate a bit of the rotten meat, but sanity took control and stopped me from doing so. What a fucking idiot. Graham was the first to search for an elevator or stairs. He searched the left wing, I searched the right wing, and my cousin searched the north wing. Paranoia was striking me at this time. Every step I took on the steel floor made me think I was being followed. I could only think of what would happen if Corvus was behind me. I came to a stop. In front of me there were 3 doors, each of them displaying an event of the past. The left door was charred, as if there was a small fire a while back. The center door was fine, but what was below it was disturbing. A dried up pool of blood had spread from inside the lab to outside. I could guess that there were several skeletons behind the door, all of them victims. The right door wasn't attached to its hinges. Instead, it lay on the floor, multiple scratch marks covering one side. I saw what was inside the rightmost room, an operating table with a tray of surgical equipment nearby. It was possibly the same place where Corvus had been internally examined. Apart from that, I couldn't see any stairs. I opened the central door, and I was right. Several skeletons were on the floor, just piles of grubby bones. No flesh clung to the bones, but there were bite marks on most of the bones. Again, there were no stairs. I hoped there would be stairs behind the final door. I twisted the doorknob, pushed the door, and it was filled with scientific equipment. This didn't make any sense. Why would 3 doors, side by side, be crucially important? I now hoped Graham or my cousin had found a way up. Before I could make another wish, I turned back and went to the main entrance. Then I heard a scream. 12 a.m. I ran at full speed towards the crossroads. I saw Graham already there. I asked if he found any way upstairs, but he just shook his head in disagreement. We both ran up the north wing. I was now hoping my cousin was okay, but as we got closer, a feeling of dread was growing on us. A fresh hole formed in the ground. If my beliefs were correct, my cousin was at the bottom of the hole. Without another thought, I jumped down into the darkness. I could already see a staircase in the darkness, but I had to do one thing at a time. I saw my cousin instantly. She cried with happiness as she saw me. She said she sprained her ankle. Damn. It couldn't go on. I called Graham down, as it was dangerous to be alone at a time and place like this. In the darkness, Graham pointed out that he could see a sign. As we moved closer, it said F2. Floor 2? The computer was below us? No wonder I couldn't see any stairs up, because we were on the top floor. That was one challenge completed. Now we just had to find a way down. But first, we really needed to rest. Above us, pounding footsteps filled the air. Corvus! We needed to hide. It was like hide and seek with a twist. If you're found, you end up as lunch. My cousin crawled under the table, which was covered in cloth. Graham hid in a crate, which was, luckily, already empty. I went down a trapdoor, not knowing where it would take me. Then our friend Corvus came down the hole and was trying to find us. After a minute of noise, the sound of beating wings filled the air. Corvus was gone, at least for now. One by one, we came out of our hiding places. Sorry. Then I noticed something. The trapdoor I was hiding under was the entrance to the 3rd floor. Finally, we would end this madness once and for all. But something felt wrong. What was it? 3 p.m. We climbed down a ladder into the forbidden darkness. Even though this place was shut down, I thought I could hear the buzzing of machinery. Were we going insane over this? My mind was elsewhere though, focusing on finding room 29. 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31. Wait, what? 28, 30, 31? Where was 29? The lightning must have been bad, otherwise we would be dead. I just needed to recount. 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 31B. It must be room 30. If it had to be, it must. Graham opened the door. Sure enough, it led to another corridor. Again, there was a crossroad. One of the passageways led to the laboratory too, and there was only 3 passageways. It didn't take a genius to figure it out. We took the middle passage, seeing as it was obvious. I twisted the handle and pushed, but it remained locked. What? I was like, why? Why? Why was it locked? Why is it locked? Did we miss something? Then my cousin pointed out the metallic box on the wall. It had a hole in the middle that was big enough for a memory stick to fit into. Was that it? Was the way in through a memory stick? Nevertheless, Graham pushed the memory stick into the hole. Click. My cousin pushed open the door. All we had to do now was to find computer 19 and read the message. 4 p.m. We went to the laboratory. Several skeletons lay on the floor, most of them on the floor. Pushed against the wall of the computer was a skeleton covered in a few scraps of dirty white material. Oswald Finless. Without another moment wasted, I pushed the memory stick into the port. Instantly, the computer burst into life. An options bar came up. I opened the encoded file. A document opened. For some reason, the message started to decode itself. After 2 minutes decoding, a message was formed. It read, "Son, by the time you read this, I will be dead. You know about the tests of this facility, of the dangers I faced. I was a foolish man who put science before anything else. If I have missed your 14th birthday by the time you read this and my skeleton is undamaged, take the ring from my finger. It is my gift to you. As you may already know, I was in charge of the project. It should have been abandoned at the start, but I was persistent and wanted the world of science to recognize me. Instead, I pushed on with the task, not thinking of my father, of my wife, of you. You're in danger. Leave Murderwood. Leave your home. Go somewhere safe. The test subject has a type of hatred towards our bloodline. It will, no matter what, try to kill you. I'm sorry for all this. I'm sorry for accepting this project of endangering your life. What will haunt me most will be the fact that I will never see you grow up or get to know you. Love, your father, Dr. Oswald Fennes." I looked over at Graham. His eyes were filled with tears. He stepped towards the remains of his father and slipped off the silver ring from his finger. He placed it on his own, still crying. God damn. That was it. No weapon to destroy Corvus. No instructions. Just a letter to Graham. One thing was certain, and that was for us to leave. As we opened the door, Corvus swiped at Graham's chest. A fresh pool of crimson formed on his t-shirt. Again, Corvus swiped at Graham, causing more blood to spill. Suddenly, just as Corvus was about to move for the kill, a wire near a cardboard box sparked. It was set alight. Corvus instantly fled, leaving us alone. The fire was spreading quickly. It was inching closer, and closer, and closer, and closer, and closer into my ass. No joking. What am I doing? 5 p.m. I rushed out, struggling to carry Graham's heavy body, wishing I walked out more. My cousin followed behind, limping. The flames were already a few inches behind us, burning the remains of Oswald, remains of his colleagues, burning everything. As we moved towards the entrance of room 29, the fire erupted. Luckily, neither me or Graham were hurt. Unfortunately, it burnt my cousin's arm. She screamed in agony as the sheer pain crawled over her arm. By now, both of us were struggling to support our weight, but we tried for Graham's sake, for our sakes, for our survival. But now, we were finding it difficult to breathe air. Our lungs were filling with smoke, carrying Graham with one hand and climbing the ladder with the other. We moved upwards towards the fresh air of the second floor. What? We were exhausted. My cousin was badly burned. Graham was unconscious. I was straining my muscles. By the time I checked my watch, the fire was reaching out to us. We tried moving towards the hole in the ceiling, where we had discovered my cousin with a bad ankle. My cousin cried out for help, hoping someone would hear us. The fire was closing us, and my consciousness was slipping away. Before I passed out, I saw someone looming over me, and then there was darkness. 11 p.m. I couldn't remember who had saved us. I briefly opened my eyes, seeing where I was. I was outside, away from the burning facility. Sirens. I could hear sirens. As the blue light was coming closer, I felt weak, my consciousness slipping away once more. Jesus. Date soon, 10 a.m. I woke up. I was alive. And in bed. At first, I had no idea where I was, but as I felt more awake, I remembered what happened. Where I was. I was in hospital. As a doctor came to me, I asked Vera where my cousin was. The one with the burns? She's in the burns and amputation ward. She'll be alright, but we'll need a lot of surgery. I asked about Grandma and how it was. Ah, well, I have some bad news for about your friend. You see, he suffered from severe blood loss, and we'll have to keep him here for a while. He should be alright for now. You can see him in a few hours. As I pondered on who had saved us, I couldn't help but notice how warm and soft the bed was, and just let myself drift into a dreamless sleep. 3 p.m. I went to see Graham as soon as I woke up. He was asleep, but I just sat by him, waiting for him to wake up. I thought about how his father had been selfish, putting his job before his family. Then the window opened. It was Corvus. Impossible. He surely must have stayed in Motherwood. But no, I was incorrect. It was him. His rotten breath was too real to be imaginary. I tried to find him off, but I wasn't here to hurt me. All he did was walk towards Graham. After a brief moment, I understood what Corvus was doing. He was going to put Graham out of his misery. I threw myself onto him, trying to stop him from killing my friend, but it shook me off like a rag doll. Corvus put his hand over Graham's heart. He pushed into it, he dug his filthy nails in, and ended Graham's suffering. I was speechless and terrified. Corvus moved towards the window. He looked at me in a sad and solemn way. Okay. Then he flew off into the distance, flying in a more graceful way. The last of the Fenless family was gone. Since that day, every time I look at the crow, I remember that summer. Of Corvus, of the silver ring, and all of the future Graham could have lived. I had gone back to Murderwood every summer, trying to avenge Graham's death, but something stops me. Maybe it was the fact. Sorry. Maybe it was the fact that Corvus was once a human who wanted to end his misery. But I dislike crows. Oh, that was interesting. No, that was very interesting. That was actually very interesting. I'm actually serious when I say. Oh, then there's this one. Yeah, should we say this one or did I open the comments a bit too early? I think I did. Okay. Shit. Okay. So, yeah, where's the phone? There it is. I need to type it real quick. And then I'm gonna take a 10-minute break and get something to eat because I'm about to deck the halls for a little bit. Let's see. The crow caws at at midnight. Okay, so I'm finished with this story, and the next we're gonna do is Christmas, and we're gonna do it after a 10-minute break. So yeah, 10 minutes break and oh wait a minute. There we go. So 10 minutes break and I'll be back off 100%. So yeah, and to get a new water bottle as well because I need one. So yeah, see you in 10 minutes and yeah. Alright, so we're not back, and yeah, let's continue. So where we left off right now is that we're gonna be reading Christmas. Now yeah, Christmas. That yeah, that's it. What is everyone doing this Friday? It's like no one watching at the moment. It sucks. It says when we view it, it's just basically me monitoring if everything goes wrong or what. Shit. Here we go. Christmas! I could never sleep well in hotels. I guess that's somewhat of an understatement. I could never sleep well in general, but hotels were the worst. And why is the worst, Mr. Miss is author? Just the thought that the previous occupant of this bed is a complete stranger was repulsive in my mind, but that's besides the point. Okay? What I'm getting at is how this lack of sleep in hotels changed my life. Christmas. We spend the Christmas in a shitty hotel and not with the family. Great. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I didn't enjoy the all you can eat buffet of soggy hash browns and grits for Christmas Eve dinner. Okay, before I continue, I think this pasta needs to fix its grammar because I can see some of its errors. So yeah, let's just continue anyway. Of course, the first snow of the season had to cancel our flight down to Virginia. It was Christmas Eve, and I was trying to sleep in this bleach-saturated room. My mind was wondering what happened in here to cause such an excessive amount of bleach needed. Is this a secret troll post? I don't know. The room was nothing out of the ordinary. Two beds, one for my dad and I, and another for my sister and mom. A bathroom, and a stained microwave that looked in need of a good dusting. Somehow I escaped the room and the stench of bleach into a dreamless sleep. Waking up, I could tell it was in the morning. My dad was next to me, snoring, and he usually wakes up before 4 a.m. Really? You're in a hotel, man. You shouldn't waking up that early. Come on. How long am I going to the hotel in a fucking 1 month? I'm I'm going to Stockholm soon on January 12th. On a Friday. I'm gonna ride on a train once again. I hope. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, before continuing, I got the tickets to Stockholm as a birthday gift from my parents, and which is probably one of the best gifts I've ever gotten in this day and age. When I'm gonna turn 20, I don't know what I'll be getting. If it's alcohol, then Jesus. Oh yeah, that's when it hit me. It's Christmas, and I was about to let this bad fortune ruin my favorite holiday. Looking across the bed at the clock to check the time is when I noticed it. The silhouette of a man about 6'3" across the room staring at my mom while she was sleeping. Still half asleep and caught up in a moment, I couldn't help thinking of Santa Claus. What? Wait, who is he talking about? Why his mom? It reminds me of Swedish Christmas song, which is about like of a kid seeing his mother kissing Santa Claus, which is a classic in all Swedish Christmas thing. Yeah, so that's a kind of a nod, I guess. I don't know. I realized how stupid the thought was, and horror soon filled my head. I choked back a shriek. I knew I shouldn't let him see me awake, so I quietly put my head back down, pretending to sleep. My mind was racing. Someone was in my room, and I couldn't do anything. I was a scrawny 16-year-old. Well, God bless. This man looked built like an ox. What the fuck? I wonder if I could wake my dad up in time. But I knew that wouldn't work. He slept like a rock. A bucket of water couldn't get him up fast enough. I was practically in tears. I never felt so helpless. For a second time, I choked back a scream. He was standing next to me, and I could feel it, hear his repulsive breath on my face. And I keep looking behind me if someone just starts to interrupt me, whatever the fuck, and there's none. There's none. It smelled like he'd been eating running meat for a week now, with no thought to brush his teeth. If he didn't know I was awake, he surely did now. See, my face was contorted in fear. What? The breathing stopped and I couldn't help this sigh of relief. I would have kept myself, but there was no need. I heard the room door open and close. I launched out of bed. Nothing in the room was in disarray, and my family was still asleep. That couldn't have been a dream. I couldn't imagine it. Feeling awake as ever, a horrible idea popped into my head. Before I could push it away, I was pulling the door open. Glancing back to the room in order to memorize the room number, I saw the giant spray painted black X on the door. Had I seen this without the prior experience, I probably would have thought it was just some stupid kids. I knew better, but not enough to know what it was for. My heart skipped a beat. There it was, turning the corner at the end of the hall. Why am I doing this? I tailed him down to the parking lot. He was nowhere in sight. One moment he's walking out the lobby, the next he's gone. Realizing how cold it is outside in paper-thin pajamas, I returned to the lobby. No one was around. Strange. I could swear there's usually a night concierge. I? What does that mean? Adrenaline wearing off, I realized how stupid and rash my actions had been. He could have killed me. I cursed myself back up the stairs. I knew something was wrong when I got to my floor. The door to my dorm was wide open. I had left it that way, right? I walked inside and after a quick search of the room, I determined it's safe and my family was still asleep. I locked the door and got back into bed, though I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I listened to my dad get up and eventually my mom fall, but I still pretended to sleep. A few hours passed and my parents got my sister and I up. We got into the car and made our way back to the airport. Digging through my bag to grab my iPod led to the finding of something that hadn't been in there the previous day. A note that simply held the 5 words I still think about to this day. I knew you were awake. It's now been 2 months since the hotel experience. I'm still scared of my life and it gets worse every day. That note I found wasn't the only one. I still received them. Fucking hell. This could lead to some, I don't know, post-traumatic shit. Like suicide or whatever the fuck. I don't know, man. Like, it's someone, like, reminds me of it. Like, what the hell? But, eh. It was decent. It was not that bad. It was not that bad. Let's write it down. Okay. Let's see. Christmas. Alright, next is Ash's Coma, which is one of the most popular creepypastas out there during its day and age. And I think it focuses on Ash, who I think pretended to pretend to be a Pokemon trainer, but it was in the coma in reality. So sad tale, but Jesus. No, don't. Listen, motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking refresh the page, and I swear to God, there will not be any more of that. Oh, it was a theory. Okay. Alright. Sweetie. Ash's Coma. Have you ever noticed that the pacing, tone, and story development of Pokemon changes after Ash is hit by lightning in the early episodes? How Ash and his world are relatively normal until after that incident? I have a theory. The accident with the bike put Ash into a coma. Days later, he was found and hurried to the hospital and treated with heavy medications. This is why Team Rocket became less menacing. The medication took effect and stabilized his coma dreams so that instead of being terrifying, they became idyllic. They allowed him to live out his Pokemon Master fantasies. At the beginning episodes, the series is the result of Ash's subconscious mind fulfilling his desires, as well as attempting to escape reality. Should Ash realize he's in a coma, he will wake up and suffer brain damage, so he must take down all of his mental barriers one by one. If he can do that, he can come to grips with who he is and escape his coma. Further evidence comes from the realization that even though his journeys take him vast distances, he never usually travels by bike due to having developed a phobia of them. The Coleman fantasy explains why he never changes much physically. It explains the worldwide socialism as he thought up a safe system of government that will run smoothly and keep the world going, allowing his adventures to work like they do. It also explains how a child can go off on his own into a world full of dangerous and untamed animals. In addition, it explains why every town has the same police officer and every Pokemon Center has the same nurse. Joy Jenny, he knew from his hometown, and they act as a safety net or anchor, allowing him to feel safe no matter where he goes. They represent stability. The professors represent Ash's ideals, which is why Garrett became a professor. The fantasy also explains why every time he enters a new region, that virtually no one has heard of him, despite his conquests. How else could Paul, the rival of the Shinnok area, not know someone who placed in at least the top 16 of all three leagues and destroyed the Orange League and Battle Frontier? Moving on to the characters closer to him, Ash's traveling partners are aspects of himself he can enjoy but cannot associate with himself. Brock is Ash's repressed sexuality. Ash fell into the coma a virgin and as such needed an outlet for his growing sexual frustrations. However, since he can never experience sex, Brock must never succeed. Brock's stay with Professor Ivy was an attempt by Ash's mind to suppress his sexuality. Brock isn't just a projection of Ash's sexuality, but also a projection of Ash's fatherly instincts. He leaves his siblings to journey with Ash because he can't cope with having that much responsibility. You may notice that James got much more dialogue in this part of the series, as well as getting more touchy-feely with his Pokemon and exposing much of his backstory. Ash didn't enjoy this much, which is why Brock returns, horrified, and refuses to speak about it. Ash's subconscious was representing him at the time, so other than a general feeling of dread, he has no idea what happened. Further evidence of Brock with Ash's sexuality is that he keeps returning to the series after Ash meets a new female aspect of himself. Misty is the first such aspect we encounter, because she's the first and is merely an aspect of Ash or explanations as to why Misty plays such a prominent role in the show, but is ultimately unattainable, since he never really knew her before the coma. Since Misty is his initial love interest, evolved subconsciously, he needed her to reach a certain level of womanhood. He felt that people could only have relationships after they matured. One day. In practice, however, he finds he can't cope with it, as he lacks real-world experience. He wants the normal, pushy, arrogant Misty he knew. Thus, not letting her keep Togepi. We can't see this arc in the constant berating of his sexuality, but an eventual mellowing until she had faded into the background. Since Ash was quite attached to her, this was traumatizing. After this experience, anyone around him threatening to mature quickly ends up leaving only for another, more naive feeling to enter his life. God damn. Gary Oak is what Ash wants to be. He is wish fulfillment. He succeeded and then settled down to a normal life. Ash needs someone to succeed in his world, or he won't be able to validate it and will start questioning why he is where he is. It's a subconscious trap to keep him from becoming too aware of the situation. His mind must have figured out that awareness of the coma would snap out of him. So it took something the boy already loved and built a way out for him with it. However, Ash is too complacent to make a final stand and fight his way out of it, and cannot escape. This is what keeps encountering legendary Pokemon. They're his mind's way of showing him he could do great things if he tried. It's a way to encourage him to push forward. Team Rocket are the good equal fucking on. Team Rocket are the qualities of himself that Ash deems negative, but is coming to terms with. Jesse and James want to appease Giovanni, Ash's father figure. To achieve this, Jesse will trick the submissive James into doing her bidding. Meowth especially wants to appease him because he remembers the good times with Giovanni. This places Meowth in the category known as Ash's corrupted innocence. This is apparent because Meowth is able to speak. In fact, the whole reason Meowth can speak is so Ash can eventually accept the aspects of Team Rocket as parts of himself. Ash had issues with his father, so he put him atop the evil corporation and demonized him. There may be an actual Team Rocket in the real world, but it's doubtful that Ash's father is their leader. Ash like it feels. Ash like it feels a split between his parents was partly his fault, but also partly blames his father. The split causes his mother to move out of the city down to Pallet Town, and is one reason why Ash initially embarks on his journey to escape the turmoil at home. The whole organization, including Butch and Cassidy, is symbolic of his inability to escape his father's machinations. James has applied homosexuality, which does not necessarily make Ash homosexual, and gullibility, where Jesse is vanity and manipulation, since Meowth has the potential for rehabilitation and doesn't want to be evil. This once again fits with the conflicting personalities of demonized self theory. T-Rocket cross-dresses because Ash is exploring his gender, a different facet that what Brock represents, sexuality. And this is what a method that allowed his gay vain side to experiment freely. When it found that it wasn't something for him, he free side stopped playing with him. Max came with May. He played the ego and she played the id with great aspirations in the session. They worked for a little while, but with Ash being a teenager, his sexuality had to come back into play. He kept reinventing himself and eventually for a new aspect, but his mind slowly brought the old ones back as a crutch to make the transition easier. The honest Ash gave himself a chance to love. Since he already established Misty as someone he's not likely to go anywhere with, he created a new super female, one that was more like him and less violent. You may note that while both May and Misty had no tolerance for Brock's behavior, Dawn seems to try to shrug it off. Tracy, the breeder, was a possible future for Ash that he discarded. This future was one that is sent off to work with a professor, Ash's ultimate idea of a father figure. When Tracy disrupted the dynamic Ash had with his other possibilities. Ash's mind finding a coma and Ash viewing this person as a companion, Tracy was quickly replaced with a more threatening rival. Pikachu represents Ash's humanity. This explains the episodes where they get separated and Ash desperately wants to find them. Even to the point of working with Team Rocket aspects of himself he would never normally associate with. For some reason, cannot. Team Rocket. What the fuck? Okay, there's a bit of a hair stream there over my mouse. Damn. Team Rocket wants to steal Pikachu and hand him over to Giovanni. Jesse and James will always oppose Ash because he's terrified of the thought of his humanity lying in the hands of his father. However, this is the same reason he will work with those aspects of himself in order to save his humanity. Ash couldn't evolve Pikachu because that would mean challenging his concept of who he was, which was something he wasn't uncomfortable with while still working through his original issues. The narrator is Ash's higher mind, recapping and explaining the progress he's made and the tribulations he will face, allowing insight into how to best awaken him. Team Rocket's methods gradually become more and more ludicrous because Ash is only a child dreaming these things up. This is why Team Rockets. God. This is why Team Rocket's disguises are always believed. He knows it's them, at least on a subconscious level, but just ignores so he can better himself. In a sense that Ash who wants to escape is sabotaging the Ash who wants to stay lost in his mind so that there can be more conflict and hopefully an eventual escape. The escape is a consequence of coming to terms with who he is. As mentioned previously, T-Rocket are a method to Ash to deal with grounds he's uncomfortable with tackling on his own. You may recall that early in the show, there were animals or references to animals. For example, the fish in the aquarium of the Cerulean City gym, or that the Poké lists Pikachu as rat-like. These animals don't matter to Ash's physique, so they don't come into play much. If Ash loved puppies, everything would be about different breeds of dogs in the dog fighting circuit. But as the series goes on, you see fewer realistic animals and more Pokemon. This could be a sign of Ash's mind deteriorating. As he's in a coma, he's losing concepts of some animals and machinery and replacing them with Pokemon. It could explain things like electric Pokemon working as power generators. There are signs that his memory of the old world is slipping more and more as time goes by. The Pokemon realm will be idealized continuously the longer he has no stimulus from the real world. Ash may or may not be mentally deteriorating, but he's becoming more accustomed to his fake world's rules. The wild Pokemon are his rational. Fuck him. What was I? Yeah, the wild Pokemon are his rationalizations for the function of his creative fantasy. It's the "a wizard did it" syndrome. If he doesn't know how it works, his mind says Pokemon. The Pokemon in Ash's team, however, is the purpose of displaying the issues and aspects of himself. For example, Charmander represents his sex drive and sexuality, like Brock. At first, it's a cute, easy thing to control, but eventually it becomes a raging inferno of disobedience since Ash has no real understanding of his sexuality, thus has no way to prevent or keep it in check. Bulbasaur was his unwillingness to change, reflected in when it declines to evolve and almost decided to stay behind unless he battled him. Squirtle was his willingness to follow the lead of others, as evidenced by the gang it ran with. God. Even though he ran a gang, they were viewed as one group, and Ash's subconscious gave him the strongest one. Butterface was his crushing loneliness, which he dealt with when he was released to a flock. His bird types are his recklessness. I was willing to sacrifice something at a moment's notice for the win. When Ash is trading Pokemon, it's an attempt to push his own problems away for someone else. However, he realizes this and usually trades back very quickly. Not only are Ash's Pokemon a manifestation of different parts of himself, the Pokemon of other trainers are as well. Coffee and Ekans are a symbol of Team Rocket's willingness to change, hence their evolutions. Once his mind was able to overcome that roadblock and allow him to change once, it gave him the chance to fully change. An interesting role is that Pupitar is a not rationalization. Pokemon rival, where's that? Pokemon a rival cup before they met. Even Ash would become suspicious if everyone he met had no carryover of Pokemon or previous places he had been to. Other trainers are more difficult forms of his issues. Once he must either come to terms with or outright suppress. Generally, there's some more primary aspects of his personality, with each Pokemon being stronger than the last to display a level of skill he could only be capable of if he gaze into it. In effect, he's doing battle with the part of him that he would rather not have any control. Originally, Ash had the battles, which evolved into team battles and contests. The explanation for this is that his issues became more and more complicated, and the means of dealing with them needed to become more complex. The fact that he uses issues is that he has already dominated to win is a sign he's growing stronger. Ash releases his Pokemon because his mind is forcing him to get go of them, to let go of them, right? Yeah. The second he raises an overpowered team, a tournament comes up, and after fighting his way through it, he has to go to a new land of new challenges. However, with an overpowered team, there will be any challenges or any way to motivate him further. The Ash that wants to stay in the coma and keep journeying and hence his solved issues over to Professor Oak so that he can continue and overcome the unresolved ones. This is essentially his mind forcing him to deal with his issues. Ash's rivals in the Elite Four are primarily the strongest part of his cycle. Having Pokemon that are essentially godlike, if they represent both what it can be attained and what is attainable, Ash's rivals are all possible futures he envisions for himself. Note that they are all older than him. Okay. Originally with Gary Oaks, someone Ash knew from real life and built up into a sort of god within his mind. However, Gray progressed and Gary progressed and changed to suit Ash's vision of himself and his ultimate desire, eventually settling down into a professor role after beating the Elite Four. With Gary Oak in retirement, his mind needed a new rival for him. Thus, the birth of Richie, a good aspect of his rivalry, and Paul. Paul is his mind's last-stage effort to snap him out of him, to force Ash to actually come to terms that this perfect world is not the best opinion or path to waking up. Paul is Ash's shadow, one that wants to push on even harder and harder. Sorry. He is part of Flash that was stuck. Oh, what the fuck? He is the part of Ash that was stop at nothing to escape the coma world. Mewtwo is a new form of treatment, done with electrical impulses and a machine to knock Ash out of it, taking down every last one of his mental cards, the original Pokemon in the game. In Ash's mind, Mewtwo and his clones were, in the real world, the treatment for the mental safeguards that were protecting Ash and keeping him comatose, the Pokemon of his world. The clones were counters of the issues Ash had thought solved, and they appeared to Ash as the exact copy of his Defiance. The clones didn't play by the rules of Ash's world. They didn't use any special attacks or moves. They just beat down their counterpart through brute strength. The treatment was working. There were side effects. The electric jolts were beginning to affect Ash's nervous system. If the treatment continued, he would be paralyzed. His mind manifested this in the dream will be petrifying him. God. Were it not for the end of the treatment by Ash's mother, who knew her son wouldn't want to live in a world they couldn't explore? Ash would have remained as stone forever. After this, Ash needed to recover from the damage caused by electric therapy. In order to reduce the danger, Ash's consciousness fell from him. His subconscious began downplaying the effects in this world, which is my Pikachu's electric attacks. Once noted for the strength by Team Rocket, no longer have any effect on Ash other than comic relief. As we can see, as may well have been trapped forever in this world. However, like every dream, like everything, there's a beginning and an end. What happened if Ash never recovered? In his hospital room, we see Dahlia, obviously distraught. She's talking to the doctor with a grim look on his face. The man is saying the insurance is up and the boy has no chance in brain activity in years. The shock of taking him off a life support has a very small chance of awakening him. She tearfully agrees. Back in Ash's world, he has finally defeated the Elite Four, and one by one, the people around him disappear. Eventually, everything is back. Pikachu comes dashing toward him, glowing brighter and brighter in the darkness. Eventually, he reaches Ash, and the two embrace one last time. In the hospital room, his life signs fading. Ash mutters his final words. I want to be the very best. He would die never having known his dream, except as not by a dream. When he came back to reality, he knew it all for the life it was. Knew it was his imagination. Knowing all his efforts, ambitions, and friends were nothing, he let me go. As he utters his final words, he barely opens his eyes and can see the silhouette of his mother, her face hidden by her hands, wiping away tears. They make eye contact, and one final realization fills film before he loses all strength. Okay. He sees that his mother was holding out hope that he'd recover all the time. He sees her and finds that her hope had been broken as she'd come to realization that she outlived her only child. He dies knowing that he is loved, but what it means, the person closest and most real to him is utterly crushed. Still, there are other possibilities. The fountain of time flows in mysterious ways. One could not go back against the current, such as Gatsby. However, one could never see what is waiting for him downstairs. Ash finally defeats Lance, only to be confronted by not Geralt, but a mute mirror image of himself. The voice of the narrator speaks to him, telling him that now he can finally escape the prison of his mind. One by one, his friend appeared and melted away into more cookies of himself, cheering him on. After a long, tough battle against himself with the assistance of his Pokemon he had ever befriended, he jolts awake. In his party room, he sees his parents asleep. He finds himself unable to speak. As Ash pushes forward toward his recovery, he goes to physical therapy, training harder and harder with journeying. Just like last time, he's late getting to Professor Oak's laboratory. When there's only one Pokemon left, he suddenly recalls all his memories of his life and realizes all his friends are gone forever. As he sets out with his new companion, he finds the world is darker than he imagined. More real Pokemon and people died. He, too, has aged. He wants to become the Pokemon master he dreamed he was. He wants to himself. He wants to them. I will be your very best. I mean, yeah. He said that he came back. He came back from school. That's nice. How long have we been doing this? Oh no, oh my god. Should I take, let's take 20 minutes this time. I don't know why I'm a bit sleepy. I'm just fucking, feels like I'm about to sink down to the very bottom of the floor. I don't know why, but goddamn. Hold on, what is this? Oh, well. I don't know, like, I think I know I'm tired, but, hey. I don't know what to say, though, but, just, wow, should have slept a bit more, like last time. Well, has it been short on? Let me see. I see, length on some. Creepypasta reading. My head's fixing the fucking way. Get out. Lost. Also, majority of them are over 3 hours long. Some could be 2. I mean, one was like 2.5 hours. Ah, fuck. Whew. Right then. Yeah, I was like a bit, like, to be honest, I was like a bit relevant back in 2015 where, I was little known by my friends for a lot of things, a lot of big things I'd done. But when 2016 hit, where do I start? It's just a bit weird to me to see how YouTube is nowadays and how I am, of course. We all mature a little bit. I'm 19 and I'm about to be 20 years old in about over 10 months. So, yeah, still working at the same job as I was since early September, and if I remember correctly, I'm going to be there for 1 month. So yeah, I started on September 4th, and I think I'm going to be there till September 3rd on 2018. Well, let me see. Yeah, September 3rd on a Monday. Yeah, that's why I am. Well, my final work duty there. Okay, so let's see. How many are left? Wait, did I? Yeah, I think yeah. Let's do 2 more, cause I feel a bit off. So yet again, I apologize if it happens, but yeah, I'm gonna be reading. I hate you and Sky and the Third Sanctuary as the finals. So I'll do it after oh god, should I even say it? After a 20-minute break, like 10, 15. Let's take a 15-minute break. Let's take 15 minutes. Not 20, 15. Oh, fuck. I should have took some rest when I've come back home. I should have done that today, but all I did was some random shit. I don't know. But either way, 15 minutes break, and yeah. So BRB after this beep. Boop. Alright guys, we are now back and I have two more creepypastas to read because I'm like how should I say stoned. No, but I should have taken a nap when I come home. So when I arrive back home, I should have done that way earlier. I should have listened to my mom about it. Either way, let's read the one creepypasta that Mudar, also known as more gamers, read. That became one of his popular videos on his channel before he deleted it and then re-uploaded it on his second channel, which is Some Ordinary Archives. So, sorry for burping, but Sonic XC is here as well. Before I read it, I'm gonna show you the proof that Sonic XC is here. There, there's a 2016 rewrite, which I haven't read yet. See, told you it was there at the troll pasta. It was early on Creepypasta before, but nah. Yeah. You can find archive version here. Yep, that's the pinnacle of doubt for it. And then there's also a fucking sequel. Woo! It's an official sequel to Sunday XE. It's not Sally, because sorry, it was counted as an unofficial sequel for Saturday XE. Now, Saturday XE 2 Electric Boogaloo is a continuation, an official one. Now, I'm gonna read the first and second one when I can. So, well, this was read by some other gamers as well, which yes, for Shipbusters and is it still up? Nope, it's gone. But the thumbnail was there as well. But yeah, it said Reb. Wow, I still couldn't believe there's a whole. Oh yeah, Need for Speed Iran. Yeah, I saw him do a troll pasta reading of that with fuck, I don't know. Yeah, and then there's that, which I don't know what the fuck that is. I might get into it soon. Either way, let's read. I hate you. Hold on, before you need to sip some water first. It's important. Sonic piss yellow to piss harder. Yo, we should do a troll pasta reading. We should fucking do that. That would be interesting. Oh my god. Either way, let's just do it. This isn't one of those haunted game stories. At no point are you going to hear me claim something within the game spoke to me, reacted to my words, or forced me to punch myself repeatedly in the face. No, this isn't about a haunted game or a game doing something impossible or even something it shouldn't have. This isn't about a glitch or a hidden satanic message, and at no time did I phone attendant headquarters, only to have my questions answered with hushed whispers or angry screams. The story is about a game feature I don't think anyone else has unlocked. That's it. No ghosts, no conspiracies, just a secret we were all supposed to find, but never did. Something that changes an entire generation's childhood and the very essence of a multi-million, billion-dollar franchise. This is about what I assume to be a previously undiscovered alternative ending of Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, or the SNES, or the SNBS. In 1996, I received my first computer as a birthday gift. I'd been on the internet before, had used computers before, but it had always been in school or at a friend's house. This one was mine, all mine. I explored the crude prehistoric web of the time with great interest. I downloaded all sorts of pornography and even printed it out, which made absolutely no sense. I also pirated media like a madman. Music, games, anything. This was where I first discovered Mario World. I never had a Super Nintendo as a little kid, so it was all new to me. I had downloaded tons of games along with the SNES simulator, but Mario World was my favorite. For over a decade, the same Mario World ROM was my time-wasting hobby. I played it over and over again, beating the game faster and faster until I began to lazily explore the worlds with no particular purpose. Game genie codes helped immensely. I could turn off the timer and relive a particular entertaining map for an hour as I waited for a download or any number of boring events. It was in this manner that I must have beaten and rebeaten the game thousands upon thousands of times. There was comfort in the obsessive compulsive behavior of this routine, but all of that was shattered when I saw the blind boo. The blind boo, right there, as I referred to it, was hovering over the exit from the haunted sunken ship level later on in the game. I call it blind because it actually had no visible eyes. It was like someone had made a lazy ROM hack, but I knew from years upon years of experience that this was a normal game. The blind boo just hung up there over the exit pipe, blocking it. I turned my back on it, but it didn't chase me. How could it? It didn't even see me. Then I noticed something else of the sorts. There was a key in the keyhole misplaced above the exit. Keys and keyholes are such all ways of it ending a level in an alternative manner and discovering a secret area. Still, this didn't belong there, and I knew it. For a moment, I considered the fact that I had actually broken a ROM file from overuse. After taking a screenshot specifically to show all of you Mario Bros. Fans out there, I picked up the key and opened the door, and figuring the game would seize up and I had to restart. Instead, it opened up a new path on the map selection screen. A whirlpool next to Bowser's already creepy head cave theme. I pressed the right arrow and moved onto the rolling drain. Oh god, no. This didn't really strike me as odd, because if you're familiar with the Mario World game, there's an area called Star Road that you may know has similar names. Just stuff like tubular and awesome and all manner of dumb words and phrases. Most of the areas were called Vanilla Forest 1 and Donut Mountain 3 and all that. But there were maps with odd names like that. What did concern me though was Mars' expression. Surprise? Shock? Fear? And to the map. Oddly enough, the whirlpool in the middle of a lake began with a standard castle entry animation. When I walked up to a castle door, looked up, then went in. I could tell it was underwater though, because of the bubbles that periodically emerged from the sprite's mouth and floated to the top of the screen. Inside the castle, it started to look more and more like I was in fact experiencing the glitch. There was no room to jump, no room to do anything but run left and right. I must have gone right for 10 to 20 minutes, just holding the B button and running along at full speed. After a while, I ran into one or two blind boos in the darkness above. There were three or four, and the screen was full of them. They just kind of hung there, doing nothing. They wouldn't chase me if I turned my back, as with the previous blind boo. If I made any noise, like Mario's jump sound, they would just kind of shudder a bit, like they heard the sound of Mario's movements, but couldn't do anything about it. Then something made me stop and turn the other way. Now I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that this map was designed specifically to screw with the player. Not because the giant bleeding bill was hemorrhaging profusely from its face, but because it was inescapable. There was literally no way to avoid being killed by him, as you could clearly see above. That is, unless you're like me and you have the Game Genie cheats on hand. I switched on the code for permanent invincibility. I let the bleeding bill chase me for a while when I was invincible. just just to get a good look at the thing. I stalked the killer with my invulnerable touch, only when I saw a message that hadn't been there when I passed before. I hate you. That kind of creeped me out. But on the other hand, it was kind of interesting because it meant this was definitely a map that was supposed to exist. There was some sort of plot element here, something undiscovered. What did it mean? Who hated me? King Koopa seemed the obvious answer. Or maybe just a ghost. When you're in a haunted castle that you found by way of a haunted ship, a bloody-looking hate message isn't so unbelievable. I saw it again as I approached some giant boos. I was thankful that the blind boos ended at this point, because the more I watched them shudder, the uneasier I felt, almost apathetic toward them, etc. The thankfulness ended when I turned my back on the giant boos, and this happened. Giant boos with faces I hadn't seen before. They always looked mad at being awakened, angry that you were invading the haunted houses across the Marvel Island. This was different, and they looked gleeful, demented. I could see right down their throats, which seemed odd given the lack of detail their mouths usually displayed. And yes, of course, I'm going to address the message you saw in the picture. Why would you die? I don't know why. Am I supposed to? Who's asking? I let the giant bows touch me, and they die like bleeding bills, of which I had encountered two. Despite any attempt to scare the player, I knew that being invincible meant invincible no matter what they threw at me. After a while of running down this strange claustrophobic corridor with no more eventful happenings, I come to a room with an exit pipe. Take, sorry, taking the pipe downward, I came out of the other end and dropped into a room filled with water. The water made sense, this being a sunken castle beneath a whirlpool and all. I was rewarded for my troubles with a question mark block that released a mushroom for me. I could have easily done this with a cheat code, but the thought had escaped me as I faced all these new and strange sights. The first creatures I encountered in the underworld portion of the castle were thwomps. Well, thwomps. Unless you've been living on the rock since the mid 80s, you know thwomps are still like square creatures that hang from the ceiling and fall whenever you come near. They try to crush you, essentially. But these thwomps line up in a tight row, drop repeatedly and randomly with no real trigger or any sense of logic. They would just wait or drop whenever they seem to feel like it. It also looked like these thwomps have been very successful thwomps. More cartoony blood. This was getting pretty unusual for the Mario Bros. Franchise, which I hadn't recalled seeing blood in at all. Now I'd seen it used 3 times. The bloody bills, the messages, and these perpetually smashing granite thwomps who working their victims into pulp forever. In the happy effects of the water, I watched slowly under these stakes, making sure every single one touched me and died. There were almost 30 of them in a row. They started relentlessly crushing over and over again, just made me hate them with an unsettling intensity. Is my voice changing? I don't know. I think it does. Oh, feels like I get sick again. Shit. Wait a minute. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, I think I'm back. I don't know what the fuck happened, but ow. Yeah, it had to happen for some reason. Let's see. Okay, I'm restarting this whole part here. More cartoony blood. This was getting pretty unusual for the Mario Bros. Franchise, which I hadn't recalled seeing blood in at all. Now I'd seen it used 3 times. The bloody bills, the messages, and these perpetually smashing, grinding thwomps who were working their victims into pulp forever. In the handprint effects on the water, I walked slowly under these things, making sure every single one touched me and died. There were almost 30 of them in a row. The sight of them mindlessly crushing over and over again just made me hate them with an unsettling intensity. What's weird is that the blood caused Mario to slide as if he were on an ice level. Well, the blood is slippery, aren't they? After walking through that gauntlet of depravity, I swam into a more open area that was filled with spikes on the floor and ceiling. It was difficult to swim in this manner without touching the spikes, but since I was still invincible, I didn't think much of it. I avoided them more for fun than out of any sense I'd be damaged. It stopped being fun really fast though. Now I knew some of what was going on. The bloody mess the thwomps were endlessly splattering. It was other Marios, past Marios that had tried to traverse this level and failed. I had to admit this was an excellent touch, even if it was a bit ghoulish. Whoever had designed the map actually broke the fourth wall and showed you the bloated, motionless abortions of players' own careless treatment of Mario's tiny life. The buttons only floated straight up and down a tiny bit, as if to show the effects of a light current. It was genius, and I couldn't believe I might be the first and only person to ever see this. And now we all saw it because we read it. I toyed with the idea of taking more than the one screenshot I just presented to you. Basically, so all of you reading this could enjoy the secret map as much as I had, especially this weird little touch. But without swimming, without kicking or moving any way, the dead Mars started to come at me like torpedoes. Their faces remained blank and blue and dead, but they moved with astounding speed. They angled them in position and worked all sorts of unique trajectories that left me almost nowhere to move. They continued coming at me and swarming and backing up to try again, and I just couldn't bring myself to let them touch me. I moved with more speed and skill than I had ever exerted, frantically trying to keep Mario free of the drowning victims that seemed dead set on rocketing straight into him. When I finally reached the purple exit pipe you see above, there had to be 10 of those things right behind, pitching, turning, and chasing me. I entered the pipe as fast as I could, thankfully that it worked properly and had Mario out of that situation in a heartbeat. The corridor that followed was empty, thankfully. It was just a blue underwater hallway of sorts with nothing to avoid or kill. It was boring and predictable, like the game had been all these years, which brought back a sense of safety. At the end of the hallway, I come to the standard pair of doors you'd enter to face the final boss. Beside the doorway, a mushroom power-up. I didn't touch that shit. Going through the door was as you'd expect. The typical change of map views occurred, and Mara was standing on the ubiquitous bridge over boiling lava. What had been blood all along? When Mario walked out onto the bridge, however, there was no boss creature. Instead, Mario immediately looked out to the side and froze. I couldn't control it anymore. He just stood there. Keep looking until you see it. I didn't even see it at first, so I don't expect you to notice it right away. If you still haven't spotted their thing, look at the third window from the left. FYI, that's not usually there. Mario seemed to regain his composure and looked back and forth slowly, surveying the room. There was still no boss, and I still couldn't control him, so I stopped trying and just watched. This went on and on For what seemed like forever, nothing happened. Then a familiar face walked in from the right, dressed in green, tall and angry. It was Luigi. Mario recalled in horror. It's difficult to say that without thinking how crazy it sounds, but Mario really reeled back with this sort of terror that was uncharacteristic for such a peepy, happy-go-lucky mascot like him. Then Luigi spoke. It was all connected now. The message scrawled on the walls, I hate you, and why don't you die? Luigi. It's almost been Mario's second banana. The play 2. The one doesn't get the princess in these early games. No matter how identical he is to Mario in skills and ability and tenaciousness and bravery, at the end of the day, the game is Super Mario Brothers, and he's just the brother. How it must have hated Mario. Who among us wouldn't? Think about it. No matter what happens, Mario always comes back. No matter how many corpses he lays literally the battlefield. He's always there, once more to leap and cheer and get all the adoration. And Koopa hadn't walked alone. I didn't know what that meant at first, if anything, but again you just have to think it through. How exactly does King Koopa consistently succeed in kidnapping the princess? From day one, from the original Mario Bros. Onward, it had always been an inside job. What? Still unable to control the character, I watched Mario simply covered in fear as Luigi leapt high into the air, as high as he could in Mario 2. The bastard child of the franchise. He jumped on the pathetic, weeping Mario again and again and again. I was powerless to stop it. When it was done, it seemed to look at Mario's limp body with its overwhelming rage. Then the bridge started to disappear. Soon Mario would be dead. As I looked down, I had a rational thought. Wouldn't be permanent? Within an instant, as Luigi turned to seemingly strike a victory pose, like he'd beaten the level, Mario awkwardly got to his feet and took him by surprise. Fear and sadness and confusion had given way to anger, and Mario overpowered his brother with little effort. To this day, I'm still haunted by the final result of his wrathful reprisal. There was the map's title. None of this was a glitch. None of it was a mistake. It wasn't a developer getting back at Nintendo, and it wasn't a ghost haunting a Nintendo cartridge. It was all planned. Purposely part of the Mario Brothers mythos. If you beat the like like 10 number of times, a secret part of the world opened. And you learn that from Mario Brothers to Mario Land, Luigi has secretly been working against you and was in fact facilitating the repeated abduction and abuse of the princess. But why? Money? Power? No. It was all there. A secret part of the what was I? I was there because it couldn't take not being the one in the spotlight, not be Mario himself. After Luigi died, Wall and truly died, Mario just sat on the edge of the bridge and wept. I was forced to watch this for minutes on end before the screen faded to black. I played the rest of the game through to see if anything changed. Nothing else had happened, as one would expect since this whole ordeal was just supposed to be part of the actual full story. I couldn't access the whirlpool again. I'd seen the events once, and that was all I was apparently allowed. It was back to the game as usual, the same exact game I played since the 90s, and will probably continue to play for the rest of my days. Well, it was the same, except for the final image. Yeah, that was yeah. Oh, that looks like a cross. Alright, let's do the final one before we go straight back. I'm feeling a little bit down, you know. Oh crap! Okay, let me just type it in and then yeah. Hold on. Let's see, Skyrim. That's another quick Christmas creepypasta type thingy. So yeah, just so you know. See, the third sanctuary. Did I yeah, spell it correctly? Nice. Fine. Gonna start in about on now. Let's read the final creepypasta for the day, and then I may be back to it in a few days. Who knows? And just look at John Tron's face. Well, Christmas. What better time than Christmas to get a brand new Alienware desktop? Ooh. Oh, on Christmas Day, I was pretty happy when I wrapped an Alienware and Skyrim for PC. After doing all those things my family now normally does on Christmas, I immediately set up my new computer and installed Skyrim. I tore into a few other games like Sonic Generations, Gears Mod, etc., but Skyrim was what I played first. Now, I already own Skyrim for the Xbox 360, but it didn't have mods or console commands. I know it doesn't. Yeah. So after playing Skyrim for a while, I checked for some mods and found something that looked pretty cool. It was called Skyrim One Upped. I liked the name a little, and I saw that I was the seventh, and I was the seventh person to download it, and that all six people before me gave it the highest possible rating. It said it added a lot of new tech features, like more customization options, more text, more dialogue, more locations, and other things. So I downloaded it, and nothing was unusual. File size was fine, nothing looked suspicious, so I don't blame myself for downloading it. There was a text file with it, and no, it didn't say anything about death or whatever. It was just a regular text file stating that the mod required you to start a new save. I did, and I had to say, what happens at the beginning was, I repeat, was pretty cool, as it serves as a bit of a mysterious prologue. You start off controlling someone, not your character, talking to a formless voice inside somewhere completely black. The formless voice was named Quadruple question mark, and it asked, "And so, do you forfeit your soul to me?" The $2 options given to me were, "No, I want to stop fighting you," and "Yes, yes, just no more." I picked the first one, and then the voice responded by half in my head and saying, "I don't have time for this. Give me your soul, or I will take it from you." The two options I were given now were, alright, submit, and I can still fight. I picked the first, and then the voice laughed maniacally, and the character's soul was trapped in a soul gem. Is this fucking Avengers? What the fuck? This, I saw six other people in the soul gem, the same that I had downloaded the game. I thought that was either a coincidence, or B, and also part of the mod that changes with the hashtag of downloads. The number of downloads, sorry. Afterwards, it took me to the beginning of the game, and I got to the customization. The customization options were unbelievable. I'm not going to describe everything in depth, but any type of print appearance you may want, you've got it. I'm serious. They released 100 new hair and eye options each. The mod was in line when it said it had a lot of customization features. I played through the game, and there were some pretty cool differences. like a twin-bladed Daedric sword, a few more abandoned buildings on the outside of Skyrim, and things of that nature. The mod made the game so much more enjoyable. After completing the main questline, Civil War questline, Imperius for the win, I decided to start the Dark Brotherhood questline, and that, as you may guess, is where shit got creepy. I did the quest for Amatus Aratina, and after killing Greylord, he said, "Thank you, Rob." It didn't even cross my mind that maybe the game knew my name. I thought that the person who made the mod also modded it to where the game recognizes your character's name and turns it from text to voice, which is impressive since there are iOS apps for that. I told her no problem, and I slept in the bed and waited for the "we know" message. I then went to sleep again, and I woke up in the abandoned shack where Astrid said her usual dialogue. I wasn't forced to kill one of the three people, and this creeped me out. The names of the characters were Ben Johnson, Jake Dees, and Lily Adams. All three people I knew in real life. Now, Now, this could have been done by looking through a Twitter account or something I linked to Steam, but this couldn't. The voices sound exactly, and I mean exactly the same as each of the three people did in real life. Ben sounded like Ben, Jake like Jake, and Lily like Lily, and that's when what the fuck, WTF, what they said even matched the personalities perfectly, and so I was kind of afraid to kill one of them. But as any person in one of these situations would do, I shrugged it all off as a coincidence. I've never believed in the supernatural, so why start now? I killed Ben for no reason other than I had to pick one of them. And then left with the password to the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary. I then decided to go to sleep since it was 1 a.m. in real life, not Skyrim. And next morning, what do you know? I saw the news that Ben Johnson had died. There's no way it was a coincidence, but I still thought of it as one. I tried to show my best friend's face. Oh dear. They said he had a slash across his face and it would look like a stab to the heart, which is exactly how I killed him in the game. I still think I'm stubborn yet. When I even begin to think that it was really caused by this mod. But I wasn't going to just get on my computer. My best friend died. Did you really expect me to say I got it afterwards to try and solve the mystery? After a while, the cops started searching for evidence, and all they could find were fingerprints of Ben's body. And then I heard that the fingerprints returned no match. I couldn't deny it anymore. After 2 weeks, I was finally ready to get back on that goddamn mod, and I did the rest of the quest line for the Dark Brotherhood. I got to the point where Astra dies, and in the mod, no one else survived. I found a note on Babette's body, listed the location of a third sanctuary that can only be accessed through a portal that only be made through the use of magic. I searched through the entire damn sanctuary and found nothing. I finally found a book called Spell Tome, Mysterious Portal, and it had no description. I read the book and got a notification saying I learned the spell. And I then used the spell, obviously. The entire book wall of the sanctuary turned into a portal, and I walked through it. This is where I think I may have died. Not remembering the prologue, I delved into the sanctuary and was greeted by 4 question marks. It gave me directions to restore sanctuary, and if I did so, he would help me. Fucked. He would help me perfect the portal spell to take me anywhere I wanted in the game. How could I refuse? Oh, how long is this? Oh god, okay. How could I refuse? I did what he asked. The usual type of tedious task for this sort of thing. And then a shrine in the center lit up like the sun, and it was there that I finally remembered the prologue. You know why? Because I ended up right what I described in the prologue, only it took place a little before the events there. Full customer asked me if I wanted to live. I responded, yes. He then said, they give me your soul. I responded, never. And he then caused me to erupt into flames. He then said, don't resist, and I'll stop this. I just remained silent. Quadribus then said, well then, I think I should get on with this. Afterwards, I couldn't control my character anymore. It was like he was under the control of someone else. And he was. That's what happened in the prologue. When I was controlling someone else at the beginning of the game, I think I was controlling someone else's Skyrim character. So, since I couldn't do anything, I checked the download count for a mod, and it was 2,341. And then I noticed the dialogue was different. The quadruped said, are you going to give your soul? There was a bit of a slowdown. Oh, to me? I think the guy controlling me, if there was someone controlling me, was saying some computer-like issues. Anyway, this guy wasn't as anxious to get on with this game as I was, so I picked up, yes, just no more. Quadruple then began one of the stereotypical villain laughs, which caused huge slowdown this time. It still didn't stop him though. The game then played the same animation that it did when I picked the yes option, again with slowdown. That a huge pain came over my entire body. Then, what may be the greatest miracle in my entire life ever happened, the game froze. The, the game froze. So I was then brought back to my desktop. The pain stopped immediately. And, as any smart person would in this situation, went to delete them off from my computer as well as the save file. However, the files were both corrupt. So since I couldn't use them anyway, and I didn't want to either, I deleted them out in the save file. I went to check the news to see if anyone else had this happened to them, and there were exactly 2,341 confirmed cases of unexplained death in front of a computer nationwide. Remember how many people I said down the mod? 2,341. So I think I was very, very lucky. I went to go report the mod immediately. It was no longer there. Neither was the user who posted it or uploaded it. And so, if you encountered the same thing, please tell me. Although I doubt you'd be alive to say anything. That was interesting. Now, yeah. So this was it for Creepypasta Reading entry number 11, and it's probably the shortest one out of all of them, and I apologize for that because I'm very fucking tired, dude. So right now, after I've ended this stream, I'm gonna have to go all the way to the restroom, brush my teeth, put on my pajamas because it's cold as hell, and then go to bed. That's what I'm gonna do straight away. So when is Creepypasta Reading 12 gonna come out? When I'm not tired. I don't know when I'm gonna be happy and untired or whatever. I don't know. Either way, hope you enjoyed this live stream. And if you did, then please give it a like, which means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't want to miss any of my videos and live streams. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay safe and stay strong. And as always, take care, guys. And hold on. Yeah. Peace.